What's up, everybody? Welcome back to One More Guitar. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. I can't believe this year's over already. It seems like it just started, but I guess it's time to have a little fun and look back over all the stuff I got this year and let you know what I think about it now that I've had it for a little while. I'll put links to all the videos I've made about this stuff in the description, along with any affiliate links I have to any of this if you want to help support the channel. I really appreciate it. I really like all the stuff I've got this year. There's nothing that's on the list that I would say stay away from. It's all been very usable and pretty much does the job. But I will count down to my favorite stuff just for fun, so let's check this out. Alright, somehow I've picked up 13 pieces of gear this year, and that's kind of crazy to me, but we'll start at number 13 and work our way down to 1. So number 13 is the Donner DT1 tuner. I picked this tuner up for about 30 bucks, and I have to say it actually works pretty well. I mean, it's probably not the most accurate tuner that you can buy, but for $30 it gets the job done. There are two downfalls with this tuner though. If you use it to mute your signal and you leave it turned on for a while, the display can kind of get wonky. You might have to click the thing on and off again for it to actually show the letters when you're tuning the guitar. Not a big deal, but you know, something I wanted to mention. And the second thing is that when you click it, it is pretty loud. It has a very loud click to it. Again, not a big deal, but something I wanted to mention. Number 12 on my list is the Keeley DDR pedal. This is a drive, delay, and reverb pedal all in one, and it's definitely a Keeley quality pedal. The sound is great and it's very usable. The major drawback to this pedal to me is that you can't use the reverb and delay at the same time, and you can't use the two different overdrives at the same time. You can either use one or the other on each side. And again, it's very usable, but you know, it'd be nice to be able to stack the reverb and the delay together, or you know, put the two gains together. Maybe that's just too much for one pedal, maybe it costs too much, I'm not sure. But I did find that as a major drawback of this thing. I found myself wanting to use all of it because it's so good. Number 11 is the Epiphone Casino Warm. I thought this was a really cool guitar, but it definitely has its own quirks. Where the body and the neck meet is not the best place. It makes some of the fretboard unusable. And you know, with hollow body guitars you can get a little bit of feedback. So there's a couple of things you have to know about that guitar. But I think it sounds great, especially when you're playing like 60s rock kind of stuff. There are a few things that it does really well, and I really like the way it sounds. It's a cool guitar, worth checking out. Number 10 is the Donner Harmonic Squier pedal. I have to say I was really impressed with this pedal. I bought it so I could use it to make my guitar sound like a bass. And it does that very well. But there was a lot more in this pedal too. You can use it to go up an octave, and you can also use it to go like cents between stuff. So it's really usable and it sounds really good, especially for the price. Again, this was another very affordable Donner pedal. And I've been using it a lot. Number 9 is the Squier Affinity Telecaster Deluxe. I think that Squier has really stepped up their game with these new Affinities. They have a lot of really cool specs on them. The pickups sound a lot better than any Affinities that I've ever played before. They have a glossed headstock. The fretboards are looking good. Necks feel good. Really impressed with these new Affinities. And this Telecaster Deluxe sounds great. I really enjoyed it. A couple of things that I don't care for about it. One is the tuners. They're not the greatest tuners. The ratio is not so good. 2, the output jack is pretty loose. And 3, and probably the major issue with this particular guitar for me, is the thinner body, which I don't think would be a problem, but they also added a comfort cut. And with the comfort cut and the thinner body, it's almost too thin for me. It's like it's too close to my body when I'm playing it. I feel like I'm looking over the guitar or something. It's kind of strange. I didn't notice that when I was playing at the house, but when I took it out to the Blues Jam one time, I could tell it was kind of a problem for me on stage. It was kind of swinging up underneath me. So I wanted to mention that, but I think the quality of these new Squiers is great. Number 8, we've got the Boss RC10R Looper. This has been a very useful tool for me. It's been useful for the videos, it's been useful for songwriting, and it's been useful for just practicing. So I really like this pedal a lot, even though it does have some serious limitations and drawbacks to it. It is a little complicated. You do need an extra foot switch. You can't get as many foot switches as maybe you would like for some of the functionality. It does have some drawbacks, but it is very usable. I think the drums sound great on this thing, and the fact that you can do 2 different tracks where you can have a verse and a chorus and switch between them, that's been super useful for me. So I really think this is a good product. I'm hoping in the future that Boss figures out these little weird things about it and maybe makes the ultimate looper pedal. But for my uses, I really enjoyed this thing. Number 7 is the Gretsch Electromatic, and some numbers that I'll put on the screen now because I can never remember them. This has been a really cool guitar though. I really like the Filtertron sound. They're low output pickups, but they sound great, have a unique sound about them, and I really like that. Another thing is the way this guitar feels in your hands. The neck feels really good. It's got a good profile on it, and the gloss finish on it feels really nice, and the body weight is really good, and it's really balanced. So I really like this guitar a lot. The couple of things that I will mention about it, I personally get a little confused with the controls on it because I'm so used to a Les Paul. I tend to turn the tone knob down when I want to turn one of the volume knobs down. And the other thing is the master volume is supposed to have a treble bleed on it, but if you roll it back any at all, really, you lose a lot of top end. And the last thing is the Bigsby. Bigsby is not my favorite style of trim. That was the first one I had, and I don't really plan to get another one. I mean, maybe I will in the future, but I just didn't really love the Bigsby on it. But it works fine, and I was able to keep it in tune, but I ended up not really using it that much. Number 6 is the Epiphone 335 Traditional Pro, and I was really shocked at how far this one made it up the list. When I bought this guitar, I wasn't expecting a lot. I got a really good deal on it, and really I just bought it because I'd already got the Casino and was waiting on it to come in. It had been so long, I figured I'd pick up a 335, and maybe by the time I got the Casino, I could do a comparison video. And I do still plan to do that. But I was really blown away with how nice this guitar was. I really enjoyed it. I think the pickups sound great. I think the guitar feels and plays great. And the split coil stuff is pretty usable on there. Like I said, so I was just overall surprised by how good of quality this guitar was. Really the only negative thing I have to say about it is I had to send the first one back because it had some high frets on it. But otherwise, this has been a really enjoyable guitar. Alright, we've made it to the top 5. Let's see what made the cut. Number 5 is the Squier Affinity Jazzmaster. When I was talking about the Telecaster Deluxe earlier, I mentioned all the things that Squier has done with their new Affinity line to really bring things up a level. And this is no exception. It's got the new pickups, it's got an upgraded trim system on it. I think the finish looks awesome, and it really just feels good in your hands, and it sounds really good. Another thing I want to mention about it, it has one of the best looking Laurel fretboards on it that I've ever seen. Got a lot of streaks in it, a lot of waves. It's really cool looking. And the last thing about this guitar is that middle pickup position. I don't know what it is about it, but there's something special about that position. I really love the way it sounds, and I use it a lot. So definitely digging that guitar. At number 4, we've got the Epiphone Gold Glory Jared James Nichols signature guitar. This thing is smoking. I love this thing. I love the double gold finish on it. I especially like the Les Paul custom attributes on it, where you've got the binding and you've got the inlays on the headstock and the Grover tuners and all the different stuff that makes this guitar look so good. I think that's one of the coolest guitars that's come out this year. It's got the Seymour Duncan pickup in it, which sounds great. And one of the things that I love the most about this guitar is that it changed my playing style. I think maybe just guitars with one pickup might do that, but this was the one for me that did it. I really had to learn how to get the most out of just the bridge pickup, and it made me a better player, and I will definitely appreciate it for that. Number 3 is the Fender Blues Jr. I freaking love this amp. I've been carrying it every time I go to the Blues Jam. If I'm going to take an amp out of the house and I'm not playing a full-on rock show, it's going to be that Fender Blues Jr. I think it sounds great. I love the weight of it. It's about 30 pounds versus the Marshall, which is about 50. You know, I go to those Blues Jams, it's downstairs, you know, 3 flights of stairs, so having the Blues Jr. versus the Marshall is a lifesaver for me and a back saver for sure. But I think the thing sounds really good. Now you can get it into some boxy territory depending on how you turn the knobs and you know where you get it. But it's pretty easy to dial it in to get a good sound. And I think it sounds good when it's driven and when it's clean. So I'm really liking that amp. And it may have something to do with the Cannabis Rex speaker in it, or maybe the treble mod they put into this special version. But I dig the amp for sure. Number 2 is the Fender American Original Stratocaster. This is probably my favorite Strat that I've ever played, and I attribute that really to 2 different things. One, I love the neck profile on it. It's much bigger than any Strat that I've ever played, and it could just stand out to me because of that, but I really like the way the neck feels in my hands. And 2, I think the pickups in this thing are fantastic. Nothing sounds strattier to me than the pickups in that Strat. I love it. I also want to mention the finish. I like the nitro finish on it. I like that you can see the ash body underneath. It just looks really good and it feels really good. The one odd thing about it is the trim bar is really short and kind of points out, and I guess that's just the vintage style. Never had a Strat with that before, and I do find it odd sometimes, but it's kind of nice. I'm not sure where I lie on that yet, but it's definitely a different trim bar on this thing. But it's a really awesome Strat. I think it sounds fantastic, and it's one of my favorite guitars. Alright, we made it to number 1. The number 1 thing I picked up this year is the Gibson Flying V. Have you ever played a guitar and just thought there's something special about this guitar? That's the way this thing is to me. I don't know what it is, can't really put it in words, but I love the way it plays and feels in my hands. I love the Burstbucker pickups and the way they sound in this guitar. I love the wood grain and the finish and the figuring. I just think the thing is awesome. And I don't know if I got lucky with this one or if all of these Flying Vs of this model are like this, but that thing is sweet, man. I love it a lot. I can't say enough good things about it. It's a great playing guitar. The only drawback to it is that it's kind of hard to play when you're sitting down, but if you put a strap on, it's really not that bad. Otherwise, that thing kicks ass. It's a great guitar. Alright, so that's my list. Let me know in the comments what gear you picked up this year that was your favorite stuff. I really want to take a second and say thank you to everybody for watching the videos. You've made the channel a success again, and it's been a ton of fun, and you really make it worthwhile, so thank you so much for supporting the channel. It means a lot to me. Before we go, I want to talk a little bit about what's coming up on the channel next year. I've definitely got some new gear. We've got some pedals and some guitars coming up. I want to do some comparison videos with some of the stuff I already have. Some of those videos that you guys requested. Definitely going to get around to that. I'm actually running out of space a little bit, so I'll probably have to deal with that at some point during the year. That could be kind of interesting. I really do appreciate you watching the video. I hope you have a great holidays and a good new year. And until next time, take it easy and keep playing. Well, if you stuck around this long, first of all, I want to say thank you very much. And second of all, I guess I can go ahead and give you a sneak peek of a guitar that's coming up next year. Let's check this out. Alright, here we go. What the? Where's my guitar? Baby, did you shrink my guitar?